We have some huge news, boys, jaw-dropping to say the least. Season 9's end date, along with the Summer Fair event, will be moved to October 6th. Looking forward for more details to expect about Season 10. This is massive, boys. Thought this was going to be at the end of October. They moved it up by about a month here. So, looks like we're going to finally get some fresh new content for all us tired PC players. And it sounds like it's going to be one heck of a journey. New World devs did a huge Q&A, and I want to go over the important questions, ask your guys' opinion, what you think about these questions, as some of these are very important to New World's future. And while you guys are down there, make sure to drop a like and a sub, or New World's going to be delaying Season 10 back to the end of October. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Can we get some details on the new raid? A new raid will be roughly the similar size and format to Hive of Gorgon, 3 bosses, encounter, and a light puzzle between. I can honestly say, this is some of the best visuals to date, and our team has done a fantastic job creating new mechanics, challenges to make each encounter feel unique. I love Hive of Gorgon. I think Hive of Gorgon is still the single best content New World devs have ever released, and they're gassing themselves up like crazy here. So I hope they got the proof to back it up, because if Hive of Gorgon was good, and they're saying this new one is going to be great, I cannot wait to see it. Are you planning to nerf GS? No. Bad idea. Bad idea. The Voidblade, good idea. Good idea. Both weapons are too OP at the moment. Yes. No. In an upcoming minor release, we will further reduce the damage of Voidblade. So they reduced the Voidblade by 5% or 10% last patch. Do you think they're gonna play a game? Will they do another 5% damage reduction? 10%, or we're feeling feisty, 15% damage reduction. What are you guys feeling? I'm going 7.5. New answer. Greatsword artifact, and increasing how much the melee heavy attack damage is reduced by, and slightly increasing the projectile damage. So the heavy attack is 75%. I imagine they're going to reduce it maybe down to 30 to 40%, and then maybe increase the damage anywhere between 10 to 20%, making it an overall nerf by about 10 to 20% damage maybe. I think this will turn the Greatsword into a complete ranged weapon, which is cool, and it's time to go full arcane, boys, and start to one-shot those pesky musket users and abusers. I hate them, you hate them, let's gang up, guys. How will gear be upgraded to 800 GS? We do not know until September. So sad. Is there a plan to offer way more crafting materials, other in-game items that aren't gear as drops in games? Having to sell with 99% of what drops in game is irritating at best. True. I love getting the sad excuses for gear, the purples, the greens. Even some yellows are just absolutely horrific to look at, and they make me want to buy new glasses. Every time I look at them, I'm struck with a huge amount of disappointment. We will have some new resources in Season 10, and somewhat similar to gem cutting, but we'll have more information to share leading up. Basically, they don't want to answer this. I think the best way to do this, by the way, in my humble opinion, the only thing that really matters here, and maybe yours, if I'm feeling nice, is they should have like pieces that you can build towards the gear. So let's say if I want this chest piece, I need 5 scraps to make this chest piece. Therefore, instead of getting all this useless purple and below gear, I can then get these pieces that go towards a good chest piece, making each drop still give you that huge dopamine rush that we all need and love. Let's be real, we're playing an MMO here. Have something to progress to. I think that's much better than just useless items just to get instantly deconned into the void. What steps are we taking to make sure that older content remains fresh and rewarding to most veteran players? Allowing players to level up the gear with Umbral is the key part to ensuring more content is viable across the board. We'll allow players to hunt for specific gear and builds that they want. We will have more details on Umbrals. I'm interested in is 2 things here. Can named items be increased to 800? And are set gear going to be farmable everywhere on the map? So like in dungeon, chest runs, in named locations or raids, or are they going to be only farmable for like one dungeon has one whole set? I hope to God they do it so it's dispersed around the tournament. Otherwise, it's going to be mind-numbingly painful to do the same dungeon over and over again just to get one build. Please scatter it. It's much better. Even put one in PvP. Let's give PvP some love, baby. Question. Will players integrate loadout for attribute skills to allow us to sell hearty meals to an NPC? Attributes will be something you can save in your gear sets in Season 10. That's really nice for convenience. And hearty meals, yeah, they're completely useless. Just throw them away. They shouldn't even be craftable anymore since they've nerfed these into a different game or a genre at this point. Like, they're so irrelevant. They used to be so nice, good, and they're just pathetic. Like, what this question basically asks, I read over it so you guys don't have to hear the whole thing. Can we have more than one of the same artifacts for different builds? The response is, we're looking into doing this with Season 10. However, it's not 100% settled due to the potential limitations. But with some notable tech, ooh, fancy words, we will allow more customizable slots in items for interesting combinations. However, there will still be some set in stone perks to fit the theme and balance of items. I think this is a must needed thing, as running an artifact basically makes you locked into that specific build, i.e. Blood Drinker, have slash on it. If I want to run a thrust magic build, I would then have to respec it, and that gets expensive over time. I think people would much rather just farm an extra artifact instead of having to send thousands of gold into the sewer. That's where I am, so send your gold away, boys. What is the best thing in Season 10? They're hoping Season 10 gels together and adds something more, then sums up its parts. PvE players will be getting the most out of them in terms of new content. Lucky them, screw us PvP players. It's time to uninstall, boys. Throw the PC in the trash, console, whatever. PC players ain't getting no more love. It was short, fun, and sweet. PvP players have been getting a bunch of new things these last couple of releases, but even PvPers, whole new ecosystem to figure out. I do hope that they add one thing for PvP, and that is each game mode gives different and unique rewards, making everyone play everything. I think this is a great system to have. Yes, you may say, well, I don't like 3v3s. There's 3 sweaty goblins in there and hairy men. I'm like, well, I love 3 hairy men, sign me up. But I don't like OPR, and I still play it sometimes, so deal with it. I think this is good for keeping game modes alive and healthy, and keeping variety, which should, in theory, increase player retention over the long span, as people just don't default to their same PvP game mode. Is there a plan to have pots and food not be spent in OBR like CTF and 3v3's arenas? So they want infinite consumables in OPR, like in arenas or 3v3s. I disagree. I think OPR is a huge gold sink, which is needed for New World's economy. Otherwise, crafters are going to be homeless, and we don't want that. We want them to have a nice, stable job. Currently, CTF behaves like 3v3s in terms of providing infinite consumables, while in the mode for OPR, we are maintaining consumables as not being infinite for the time, as it supports the crafting economy. Exactly what I said. I do 100% agree with this. Do not make OPR infinite consumables. It will crash the market, because that is where all the consumables are used by far more than any type of content in the entire game. New question. Right, so I read this one quickly, boys. What they're basically asking is there a way to stop people from griefing dungeons for newer players and ruining their experience? They've responded, we've observed this problem, waiting to address this, but we want to be careful not to penalize normal play. To be honest, I don't think they can fix griefing. It's just a part of video gaming. If you grew up playing COD, you know sometimes those chats get spicy. It's the same type of thing. Sometimes people just want to troll in dungeons. Sometimes people just want to make you have a bad day. That is life, man. I don't know why Satan is sometimes on this earth in my dungeon. I think it's okay. Just it's not bad enough to where they have to look into penalizing it at the moment. Is there a plan to make significantly more gear drops, bind on equip instead of pickup, so we can actually do something with it? We're going to continue leveraging bind on pickup for most endgame rewards. The reason for this is because we feel that the ability to get everything you want from the trade post is actually one of the main ways in which feeling of the endgame moved. The gear and rewards are meant to be rewarded for doing content. We want more support for a crafting trading economy, so we'll continue to do a mix of both. The main reason, by the way, why they want to have bind on pickup is because a lot of people spend real money to get gold in New World. This end game gear grinding feel irrelevant to those players, which in turn shorten their play time, and it's annoying for people who actually do put in the time, grind, and actually make gold to just see someone swipe $10-$20, get like 30,000-40,000 gold on New World. It sucks. It's not a good thing, so they want to remove this and make it so you actually have to grind to get good gear. I 100% agree with this. I think bind on pickup is needed as incentive to go out into the world, build a community. Those pesky, greedy goblins always buying gold. While I'm grateful for new content such as OPR maps, the open world feels neglected, both for PvP and PvE. I know Umbral version 2 will help this some, but do have some specific things planned. both rewarding as well as challenging. Quick side note, I know some people are new here. Umbrals, by the way, is just a quick way to upgrade your gear from like 700 to 800. You farm these generally in dungeons. I know some people are new and they don't actually know what Umbrals are, so that's what they are. There'll be lots of PvE in open world in Season 10, and we agree that New World Open is one of our key pillars. True, chest fronts. But we've also seen firsthand over the years many type of content just don't translate well into open world format. Yeah, the zerging is crazy, dude. New World players, World boss. Send in the Armata! Like 100 people will just come and zerg it down. That is one of the huge problems with open world content. And I think that's one of the problems with MMO open world content. It just turns into Zerg Fest. I think a good way, there's too many players around it. It cannot drop to all the players. This will heavily desensitize Zerging and make it so people actually want to group up. I don't think they can do this for world bosses or events simply because that'd be too tilting for people. But for stuff like chest runs or going to a named area and farming, maybe then you only have 5 to 10 people instead of 30 people just AFK sitting there getting one hit in and getting loot. So you'll have to actually participate to get the loot, or you'll be getting kicked from the group. I think that's a good way. Fix it. Also, maybe make the enemies do more damage when there's more players around. Maybe that's hard to balance. Any plans to add some bosses in the FFA islands to drop rare item artifacts? That's a great idea. We have no current plans for this, but the first time I've seen this suggestion. It's a good idea and we'll consider it in future improvements for the FFA zone. My personal opinion about the FFA zone is it's kind of a mini failure. I do hope that they actually add this, and if they do, only one person can get the drop. This will incentivize non-stop fighting for the boss, which is exactly what the FFA zone is. And if you really want to get the artifact, just log in at 3 in the morning when no one's on, like a degenerate. When will we see the return of plus and minus 10 attribute buttons on the respec page? I forgot this even existed. I had the memory of a goldfish. We're going to allow saving attributes to gear sets in Season 10, but they're not going to be adding it. There's going to be increasing the amount you get from holding the plus and minus button. So basically deal with it, we're not doing it. Is there a plan to do a link build review, social, and lobby? I think this is a very good idea. Tread carefully and avoid toxicity, which is easier said than done. Do you think New World devs actually do Hive of Gorgon or Worm? They definitely don't do wars. I don't think they do those because these are always required to link gear. And it's very tedious and annoying. Instead of having a link build option, just allow your character to be inspected. Have a setting to where you can go up to a character in your menu. I want people to be able to see the gear I'm wearing, or I don't want it. This immediately fixes the problem, allows the player to have the choice to fix the problem. Boom, bam, problem solved. When can we see mounts added and new mount features? There will be no new mount offerings in Season 10. Nice. Hopefully we get a bunny rabbit. It's time to go hopping, baby. Please give us the ability to dye colors in store preview so that we can see what they look like on Transmog, because they look different for different colors. So what they mean is blue can sometimes look like light blue or dark blue depending on the piece. Sometimes maybe even a little bit of a purple in there. So it's frustrating for people who buy this and then get scammed out of their money, but they don't care because they're still making money, so they don't want to do it. Honestly, I can respect that. They're hustling. Any chance we can get an opinion to say multiple skill builds for each weapon? 2, 3 would be great, as we can have them as tabs on the weapon menu. We are unable to get saved mastery loadouts for Season 10. However, we do have attributes being added to gear sets in Season 10. So no, you can't do that. Honestly, it's not too big of a deal. It's just a quality of life change that I think a lot of people like to see, but no one's going to stop playing if it's not in the game. So they're not too worried about it. So it's time to make an angry Reddit post so they change their mind. What is your long-term opinion for endgame content and keeping content at endgame coming in a way that lends itself to people playing the game more consistently? This has been our primary goal for this year, to improve what content types we can actually deliver reliably on a seasonal basis. We believe MOAs have been very successful where seasonal servers didn't quite meet our goals. Sure, they kind of died out in the first week. That would turn into a ghost town live. We're excited about procedural generated expedition. Me too, dude. I am so hyped for this. Yo, let me know down in the comments below. Are you hyped for some procedural expeditions? Give some W's, boys, in the chat. I think this is amazing. While down there, smash that like button and subscribe, as I'm always bringing you the best New World content. Or New World might delay Season 10 back to October 28th. You don't want that, because we think we could create seasonal content drops for that format. Can't do with traditional static expeditions. In addition, we want to continue to invest perks and meta shifting new gear every season. Just want to make gearing refreshing Honestly, this is solid. I think making gear and perks and meta different every season is good, since that switches up the meta, makes more incentive to play the game, adds grind, and gives us a reason to keep living. Lately, players and streamers have been returning to the game, and it's so awkward when they encounter a bug that's been in the game several years ago. Leaderboards in 3v3s! Oh, they even say it. The scoreboard in Arena does not appear. Yeah, this is insane. I don't want to ask why it's so hard to get rid of them once and for all. I want to ask, do the developers themselves understand how much small, insignificant errors spoil the image of our favorite game? This is very true. Scoreboards not working is so bad for a new player to come in and look at a stream and be like, wow, they can't even get the scoreboard to work. What else in this game is not working? And it just creates like this ripple effect, right? Because if something so small can't work, then there must be so many more problems in the game, i.e. the trading post not working. Very annoying. That's a very big problem. I completely agree that this issue has been with us for a long time and should be prioritized. The scorecard issue is particularly difficult to track down, but we are working to resolve this next season. So they are trying to fix it. I guess it's really difficult. I guess coding this must be a jungle gym or something. What are the chances that we might ever see an ultimate gathering, refining, crafting set, even if we're farming and possibly paying like 100k per item to combine them? Feels really needed. Right now, to get best in slot gear, it's like 200,000 gold per piece or something. Just farm bits, bro. It's way more expensive. Another question that I like to ask is, any plans on adding prestige system to the season pass? Level 100 is cool, but it's rather finished up quickly. I think this is cool. Prestige systems for people who are playing the game more and longer, to have something to look back on, maybe a cape or a special skin, like just something to work towards. Like if you hit level 125, you get boots, or 150, you get a shirt. Just something like that would add more incentive to level it up and would give the hardcore player something to work towards. And it's not something to where a casual player feels like they're really missing out on. I think this is a great idea and they should definitely do this. In terms of the ultimate crafting set, that's cool. And if they have the time, they should implement that as well. We agree that ultimate crafting gear and refining sets could be a good addition, but currently not in the short-term roadmap. Yeah, the payoff probably not that high as well. This is the maybe 5 to 10% of players who would actually care about this. The vast majority don't. Like working in scoreboards, let's be honest, 100% of people playing New World care about that. Oh, they want a DPS meter in PvE. Oh my. Imagine if you have this, how many people are going to get kicked out of raids, boys? How many are we thinking? This would increase the toxicity way more than linking gear, so I guarantee there's no way they implement this. Because a DPS meter is insane for toxicity. And it's also just stat chasing instead of, you know, like some people are debuff bots. They're not going to have high DPS. People who are newer to the game might think they're useless, and that could also create unnecessarily toxicity as well. Like a Ren bot, very useful in a raid, but their DPS kind of low. This has been something we've considered for a while. However, it got not prioritized due to variable reasons. This is also the aspect of the game that once we implement a way to see exact damage in builds, it will likely cause a meta shift focus around that being the only thing that matters, to there being a more corporal number to focus on. This is true. But right now we already have this where everyone runs the exact same DPS build, Rapier Finisher. So this statement is irrelevant because they've already made this a thing. But I do understand their point. And things like utility CC, deliberating target CC will also be deep and not as important. Exactly what I said. I agree with them. They're completely right. I think a damage number here is not the best. I think having your own damage number would be cool, but just not like a party damage number. So you can see how much damage you're doing. And then you can choose to share that with everyone or not. I think that is the best way to do that. It's the best of both worlds. You can have it private or public. I also think they need to buff another DPS weapon. Please bring us out of the finisher meta in Season 10. I am begging you. I'm on my knees. My mouth is open, bro. I will do anything to get out of this finisher only DPS meta that we've been in for years. It has been like this. It is horrendous. When will dungeons be updated to provide better armor and weapon rewards? Season 10. We already know this. When we can search for specific items by typing in perks and simplify away at storage inventory instead of having to type sundering. This is true. This is kind of annoying. We have no immediate plans to improve upon this method. However, in Season 10, we are changing the way some perks work and will be more slottable, and the slotting perks functionality will have more Verbose searching methods there. Ooh, fancy word. It's not that bad. I don't think they have to change it. I'm more excited to see what they do with the perks more than anything. How much they're going to change it. Are they going to nerf them across the board or just change them? Because I think, in my opinion, perks do kind of need a nerf. The power creep is insane. Right now, perks are so important that it's kind of dumb. Gearing New World Eternal matters way more than I think people realize. Stacking full enchanted word, that's 20% flat DR basically. Full shrinking heals, every roll 3k health every 7 seconds. Like, that is insane stat density when combined. And perks matter so much. So I wonder if they're gonna take power away from perks or not and make them less important. On the roadmap from last month, I saw something that caught my eye. Influence Tower claims Siege's system with buildings. Can you give us any type of hint to what direction you're thinking? I love building in games and would love to see building in New World. You know, I think that'd be cool if they added, like, when a race activator, right? You know, like the forts on New World that have like the race around them. I think it would be really cool if you had like a build radius around there for the term of the race, and you can go to that fort, buy resources in that fort, and then that can be placed around the fort to fortify your position. This would be really cool. Add a whole nother layer to PvP, and the way you buy those materials is based on the amount of kills you've been getting throughout the influence race. This would be so cool, man. I would love to see this. You could be like a mini tower defense. We're playing balloons tower defense in New World, baby. My dream is coming true. Fun of this stuff in exploration is still living the fun idea stage, and we haven't brought it here into shreds to make a functional design yet. Having said, the general idea is to take the influence towers that exist throughout the world, convert them into pre-built combat playgrounds into free building zones like the ones that they used in Alpha New World long ago. This makes it sound like this dev is new, that they haven't been working since the alpha. Sus. Then influence races would resolve involving seeds, those pre-built forts sort, so they want to bring it back to how it worked before. That's really cool. I would love to see that. Sounds super fun. No problems here, man. Time to play Fortnite on New World. What more could you want? Is there a plan to rework green and other common drop rate craft modifiers that are hundreds of thousands, if not millions per server, that are redundant, clogging up people's banks? Something I thought was weird, by the way, before we get into their answer, is they made rare drops in New World common. I don't know why. You had like Mercury, right? That used to sell for 10,000 gold. Now it's like 100 bucks. I think those are cool, man. Like, when you get one, it's like you win the lottery. You get a semi down there, you're like heating up. You just made 10 grand off a drop. But now all the craft modifiers are so common that they've lost all meaning. And I think that's terrible, man. I would much rather them go the rare route. When you get a rare one, you are loaded, you're happy. And it makes the game feel way more fun because it turns it kind of into a slot machine. You never know what you're going to get. And boy, am I addicted to gambling. Looking into ways of handling all these in the future. However, we are unsure of what the exact solution will be at this time. I think they should make craft modifiers rare. Like rare, make them worth money again. Make purples and below drop when you are in full legendary gear. Like, why, like, purples and below should just be not dropping if you're in full legendary, or just way less, because they're just useless. There's nothing to gain from seeing a purple on the ground unless it's a named item. It's just inventory mess. And I love my inventory messes. Don't get me wrong. If you see my inventory on New World, you know I love messes. But I still think that's a problem. Let me know what you guys think about the Q&A down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. And while you're down there, smash that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You can become a YouTube channel member like my boy Dark Z.